marginal probability, there are 4 rules in the chapter. First rule is simple or marginal probability. Second rule is rule of addition. Third rule is rule of condition. And fourth rule is rule of multiplication. So, other than this, 3 more sides, every rule will require 1 page. So, other than this, 3 more sides will be required whenever we take up with that, we'll write it in the summary itself. Okay? Put your pens down and write it later on. Understand the concept. Simple probability means single events probability. Simple or marginal probability means single events probability. So how do you find that single event? Suppose that event is event A. Then we'll say probability of any event A is equal to m of event A upon n, where we already discussed in the terms that m are the number of outcomes in the event. Okay, event I made you write at the end. The number of outcomes in the event will be denoted as m. So m of A stands for number of favorable outcomes in event A, and the total number of outcomes of sample space U. Okay, m will be the number of favorable outcomes in event A, n will be the number of outcomes of sample space U. For example, if I throw a dice, we have done that example prominently in the last lecture. Outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I ask you find the probability that you get a number less than equal to 2, then which are the numbers less than equal to 2? 1 and 2. How many outcomes are in favor of event A? 2. Total outcomes? 6. Probability is 2 by 6. What are the chances of getting those two numbers? 2 out of 6. So probability equals to m upon n. M is the number of favorable outcomes in event A, and n is the total number of outcomes of sample space. Okay? So you can remember it as pa equals to ma upon n. Okay? But any event denoted by any letter. If it is event B, then PB will be MB upon n. Event C, then PC is MC upon n. Any confusion on this? Are you all clear with it? So, right on this. Who is this Dakkan? Why are you throwing the covers? It should not happen again. All the backbenchers begin. Did you all write this down? Yes. Now, certain notes I'll make you write below that, but afterwards, leaving this side or page, 3 more sides you leave it. Total 4 sides will be required, including this 3 or 4, ideally 4 sides leave it. Because sometimes we come across extra points also. So after this, leave 4 more sides blank for the summary. Okay, throughout the chapter, as and when we come across, we'll keep on writing it. Today I am going to take up with it 7 extra questions that will cover the basic points of the chapter, and throughout the chapter will be repeated again and again. So I am not going to solve those points on the board again and again. In fact, I am going to solve but not going to explain it again and again. So understand that first. Put your pens down. 7 different concepts I take up. The first one being, if 2 examples I write on the board, then you write it. So just be attentive first. If 1 dice is thrown, then the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. N is equal to 6. If 2 dice are thrown, then on the first dice you can get 1. Along with that, on the second dice also you can get 1. On the first dice you get 1, on the second dice you get 2. On the first dice 1, second dice 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. You will understand this? And on the first dice you get 2, second dice 1, then 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6. Which dice is that 7th number? Then 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6. Remember that if one dice is thrown, then 6 raised to 1. 6 outcomes are possible. 2 dice is thrown, 6 raised to 2. 6 raised to 2 is not 12. It is not 6 into 2. 6 raised to 2 means 6 into 6, 36. You will not have 3 dice questions. There are 216 outcomes possible. 6 raised to 3. So 6 into 6, 36 into 6, 216 outcomes are possible. Practical questions we will have on 1 dice or 2 dice. And henceforth, whenever it comes, I am not going to explain this. We directly do it on your. Throughout the chapter, it will come in at least 7 to 8 questions. So, in one glimpse itself, I have explained the complete portion. I will not repeat it again and again. After leaving 4 more sites, other than this, leave 4 more sites, then write this. Other schools all have started this chapter now. All of you, now be attentive. Similarly, let us understand how to make the sample space with coins. If one coin is tossed, please silence everyone. Understand this concept now. If one coin is tossed, either you get heads or you get tails. Now, yes, silence everyone. N is equal to 2. If 2 coins are tossed, now be attentive. Whether you toss 2 coins or you toss 1 coin 2 times, the sample space will remain same. Okay, whether you toss 1 coin 2 times or you toss 2 coins at the same time, the sample space will remain same. And there is a method of deriving it. For every coin, you extend every outcome into 2 more parts, heads and tails. This is first coin. And this is second coin. Means your sample space will be HH, HT, TH, and TT. 4 outcomes. Able to understand this? Now, 3 coins. Raise your hand who did not understand this. One more, 3 coins I will show on the board, then 4 coins you will try on your own. So understand this. 3 coins. This is first coin. This is second coin. Silence. Stop talking. Everyone stand up. And now this is the third coin. Every outcome you further divide into heads and tails. So how you get the sample space here, understand it? H, H, H. H, H, T. Who is continuously talking? H, T, H. And H, T, T. Now, no need to find from this again. What you will simply do is, this first letter, which is H, you will change it to T, because afterwards everything is same only. Means T, H, H, T, H, T, 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 H, T, T, T. First letter H, you will change it to T. Understood this? In fact, even if you make only with heads, the outcomes is fine. Because what you will do in the second row is simply first letter of H to be replaced with T. Got it everyone? And you can see here N is 8. With 1 dice 6 raised to 1. Because in 1 dice how many outcomes are there? 6. With 2 dice 6 raised to 2. Same way with 1 coin 2 raised to 1. With 2 coins 2 raised to 2. with 3 coins 2 raised to 3. 2 raised to 3 is equal to 8. Did you understand this portion? So, sixth example of 4 coins, do it on your own. Okay, sixth example of 4 coins, do it on your own, completing this. First do these 3. Yes, all of you be attentive now. For 4 coins. Listen everyone. I'm just doing one alternative of H only now. This is the first coin. This is the second coin. This is the third coin. And this is the fourth coin. Generally you won't have more than 4. So here your sample space will be like H, 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 H. Then H, 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 T. H, H, T, H. H, H, T, T. H, T, H, H. H, T, H, D. H, T, T, H. H, T, T, T. Now what we have to do is the first letter H in both the rows will be replaced with T. So it will become T, H, H, H. Then T, H, H, T. T, H, T, H. T, H, T, T. T, T, H, H. T, T, H, T. T, 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 H. And T, 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 T. So N is equal to 16, that is 2 raised to 4. Who all could get this on your own? So everyone is clear with how to get this sample space? Without any confusion? Clear or not clear? So these examples will come across again and again. Now listen carefully everyone. Whenever you have question on children, selection of children, or a family with 1 child, 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, etc. is selected, you will do it exactly same way. Repeat, children are like coins. Children are like coins. Boys are like heads. Boys are like heads. Girls are like tails. Girls are like tails. Means, if you have a family selected with 1 child, your sample space will be BG. Either it can be a boy or it can be a girl. Wherever you have H, replace it with B. And wherever you have tails, replace it with G. 2 children, so BB, BG, GB, GG. 3 children, then BBB, BBG, GBG, GBB. GBB, GBG, GGB, GGG. So wherever you have heads, you replace it with boys. And wherever you have tails, you replace it with girls. All of you will remember this? Now next concept. Be attentive. Silence. Whenever the questions come on dice, coins, children and even numbers, selection of numbers, we will always make sample space to find the value of n. But whenever the questions come on selection, then we will never make the sample space. It will be wastage of time. We will be applying the formula of combinations which we studied in the last year in the chapter permutations and combinations. When will we do this? Whenever there is a question of selection. The formula to recollect is NCR equals to n factorial upon r factorial into n minus r factorial. Permutations questions are also there, but that I will do at the end of the chapter, because there are in the whole chapter 3-4 only such questions. And you get confused with too many concepts in the beginning. So beginning you just remember 2 concepts. Any questions of dice, coins, childrens and numbers will make the sample space and find the value of n, and will make events also to find the value of n. But if any question of combination comes, selection comes, then will not make this and waste time. We'll directly apply the formula to get the value of n. NCR, n factorial upon r factorial to n minus r factorial. Just to recollect, factorial means you multiply all the numbers up till 1. So 2 factorial is 2 into 1. 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1. 8 factorial, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You'll multiply all the numbers up till 1. Okay. For example, understand this. Suppose I say that there are 3 black balls and 2 red balls. Now, be attentive throughout the chapter. One more assumption. Whenever you are given with a question on balls, you assume that they can be differentiated. Because normally, if I place 3 black balls in front of you without any numbers, then which one you select does not make any difference, because all of them look same. But we will assume that they are not same. As if you are playing that billiards, then you have the numbers on the balls. We'll assume those kind of balls are there in the question. On every ball there is a number. So it makes difference whether you select B1 or you select B2 or you select B3. Now suppose here 2 balls are selected. Then our sample space will be, suppose we start with B1, then B1, B2, B1, B3, B1, R1, B1, R2. Understood this? Okay, this is how we have selected. Now when you start with B2, then don't take B2, B1 again. Tell me, 1 black ball, 1 red ball. Whether I select black and red or I select red and black, does it make any difference? Finally, I have which 2 balls? Black and red, or red and black, one and the same. So, B1, B2, B2, B1 are same. You remember that whenever it comes to selection, go only forward. Do not go backwards. Whenever it comes to selection, you'll go only forwards. Means when you start with B2, you'll directly take B2, B3. Then B2, R1. Then B2, R2. Then when you take B3, B3, R1, B3, R2. And when you take R1, R1, R2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1, 10. Now this is what we will not be doing throughout the chapter. Not wasting time on this. What we shall be doing is, now NCR means how many balls are there? 5, 3 black and 2 red, 5 are there. How many are selected? 2. So NCR means, can I say 5C2? NCR means out of 5 balls, 2 balls are selected. Okay. Now 5 factorial upon 2 factorial. You know what is 5 minus 2? 3 factorial. If you remember in 11th standard I told you, always open numerator up till bigger number of denominator. Which is the bigger number in denominator? So 5 you'll open as 5 into 4 into 3 factorial. In the denominator, whatever number is left out, open it completely. So 2 factorial is 2 into 1. Into 3 factorial gets cancelled. 2 into 2, 4, 5 into 2. Directly do we get this answer or not? And to find the probability, we are just interested in the value of n. How is that value obtained is of no use. So whenever it comes throughout the chapter with the question of, we will not find the sample space. These are only 10. You can have 35, 40 outcomes also. 7C2, then 35 outcomes. No need to waste time in doing so lengthy procedure. We'll directly find N and even M by applying the formula of combinations. Understood this portion, everyone? Anyone who is not clear with this? So in the beginning, after rule 1, write down this note first, and then after that 6th example, write down this 7th. More notes will come across after this 7th example.
We need to write 7.
Yes, here you write all the outcomes, 10 outcomes, because initial exercise 1.1 has questions of finding this, which I will not be doing in the class. I will directly starting with exercise 1.2. 1.1 exercise during the chapter, when I take up the questions, I will give you homework, because we will be finding them in the probability, so only the events you can find it in your homework also. I will be directly starting with exercise 1.2 only. Show both the calculations, show the sample space from that n equals to 10 as well as the alternative done directly with the formula n is 10, obtain that also. So all of you are clear with this? So permutations questions also will be there, but that we will do at the end of the chapter only, so that no 3 concepts to be remembered as of now. Either you have to make the sample space and events and obtain the value of n and m, or you have to directly do with this formula. Okay? Now in the notes we'll mention that when to adopt which situation. So remember this, whenever you have questions of dice, coins, children and even numbers, then we'll always find the value of n and m by making the sample space and events. And whenever you have the question of selection, we will not make the sample space and events. We will find the value of m and n directly by the formula of NC. So write down note 2 in the summary. Questions on dice, coins, children and numbers will always be solved by making sample space and events. By making sample space and events. Understood this? These 4 type of questions will always make sample space and events. Then third note. Questions on selection will be directly solved by using the formula of combinations. Understood that? Now you put your pens down. Few notes, understand it. And everything, consider these like formulas only, whatever notes I'm making, I will be asking you every day. So revise them properly and now. Okay? See here. Probability will always be between 0 and 1. Any probability answer will always be between 0 and 1. It can never be negative. You can never say that what are the chances that it will rain during Navratri? Minus 50%. Never possible. What are the chances that your exam will be preponed? So whatever probability you find out, it can never be negative and it can never be more than 1. In general life, we keep on using 110% this will happen. But 110% is practically never possible. So any answer will be always between 0 and 1. Further, probability of entire sample space is always 1. Probability of entire sample space is always 1. if you throw a dice, outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if you are asked a question, what is the probability that you get a number less than or equal to 6? 100% chances. So probability of entire sample space getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 1. Even if you apply this formula, then getting numbers less than or equal to 6, all 6 outcomes upon n is also 6. 6 divided by 6, 1. So probability of entire sample space is always 1. Probability of A complement, which we speak it as P of A naught, will always be 1 minus PA. Because we studied that A is U minus A naught is U minus A. So P of A naught will be P of U minus P of A. Just now we discussed P of U is 1. So 1 minus P of A. You just remember any complement is 1 minus that probability. PC naught 1 minus PC. B naught 1 minus B. Any complement is 1 minus. Got it, everyone? Further, P of A complement union B complement. That means A naught union B naught. What happened? P of A naught union B naught will be equal to P of A intersection B whole naught. Yes? A naught union B naught will be A intersection B whole naught. And how do you find A intersection B whole naught? 1 minus A intersection B. Same way, P of A naught intersection B naught is P of A union B whole naught. Union of complements is equal to complement of intersection. Intersection of complements is equal to complement of union. Okay, remember this. And how do you find A union B whole naught? 1 minus A union B. Okay, then we studied this P of A minus B, difference event A minus B we studied yesterday. A minus A intersection B. Further, it is also called as A intersection B naught. That also we studied in the last lecture. Difference event A minus B is also called as A intersection B naught. A occurs but B does not occur. And in language you can say only A occurs. Probability that only A occurs. Okay. Same way, B minus A is PB minus P A intersection B. It is also called B intersection A naught. Here silence, and this means only B occurs. All of you able to understand this? But if B is a subset of A, you understand this sign? If B is a subset of A, then P of A minus B will not be A minus A intersection B. You can directly do it as PA minus PB. See, if B is a subset of A means something like this. This is event A, this is event B. Is B a subset of A or not? Yes. What is A intersection B? Entire B. What is common in A and B? Entire B. So what is A intersection B? Entire B. Okay. So instead of A intersection B, can I write it as B itself or not? Yes. So if B is a subset of A, then instead of doing PA minus PA intersection B, we do PA minus PB. In one of the most important questions, we'll use these concepts. So from the beginning itself, remember this. That PA minus PA intersection B normally we do, but if B is subset of A, then no need to do A minus A intersection B. We'll simply do PA minus PB. And last, what is only A occurs? A minus A intersection. What is only B occurs? B minus A intersection B. But if they ask you only one of the two events occur, only one of the two events occur, then you will do it as P of A union B minus P of A intersection B. Only one of the two events occur means either only A occurs or only B occurs. It's a mixture of both. So only if the language comes only one of the two events occur, then what formula you will use? A union B minus A. Here only A minus A intersection B. Here only B minus A intersection B. But only one of the two event occurs, then A union B minus A intersection B. Okay. When we come across the questions, I'll explain you with detailed logic also why is it so. But remember these notes throughout the chapter. Alright everyone? Completed. And completing this, you can leave. We'll start with the examples tomorrow. Exercise 1.2 directly.